Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all this morning. As we continue on in the season, today I want to talk about peace. Yeah. All right, so we got about 20 minutes, so that should be plenty of time. Give everybody a full understanding of peace by the time we're done. And as I was getting my notes together, that peace is a very broad concept. And I guess the biggest question is can there be peace on earth? Well, with God, yes. With other men and women, probably not. I saw a statistic since the beginning of recorded history. Only 8% of the time has there ever been a time where there's actually been recorded peace. So if you think about it. And I'm sure that's just the recorded parts. I highly doubt that there was, in the places where people weren't writing this stuff down, there was probably conflict going on. Right? So it's a very, very difficult thing to attain. Peace isn't easy. Personal peace. Peace in your home, peace with your family, peace at work, right? We have all these different facets of our lives where we strive for peace. Is it attainable? I don't know. The basis I want to talk about is going to come out of Micah. Micah was around 700 years before Christ. And Micah explained that, hey, Israel you sinned. And the Assyrians are here, and you're gonna take the punishment for your sins because sin is punished. Okay. And he tells them, but I don't want you to lose hope. And he says that one day there will be a child, right? And he says that child will be their peace. And then fast forward 700 years, just remember we don't have that much time. So we're going to fast forward 700 years, and here we have Christ. And the peace that Christ brings is kind of what one of peace. I don't know, Dan. Dave liked it. It's one of the aspects of peace that we'll talk about. Because Christ breaks that barrier between man and God, right? Right? He becomes our advocate. He becomes there and allow us access to the Father. To that peace. And just like last week, right, we get a glimpse of that, but the real peace from God is coming when Christ is going to know a peace that glimpses of now, which is wonderful, but we're going to know that really soon. Because at that point, there'll be no more rebellion. There'll be no more death. There'll be no more sorrow. There'll just be that peace, right? That's why we call Jesus the Prince of Peace. It's a peace that's provided from a rich life, a life given to us through Christ. Right? Just like I said last week, we talked about joy, right? Like C.S. Lewis. You go to the source. And when you want to experience peace, you have to go to the source. And I'll wait and talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I know. I want to. I debated as to whether or not. Sometimes I think it's okay. Sometimes saying that it's like a humble brag. I mean, I sound that way, but I think for me, and I'm really grateful, I always struggled with peace. I always struggled with that contentment. Regardless of my circumstance, I could peace. Right? Because you can be at peace when things are going well, correct? I'll give one personal example, very personal, because it affects this church. About 10 years ago, I was just finished up my teaching, and I was working at a place, and there was a woman that I worked with her for 2 years. And after I finished, we were talking, and she had just yeah, I got a thing that I'm on a search committee. My church is trying to find a pastor, and I was like, oh, it's over in Council Bluffs, Baxter. I grew up a block and a half from there. Really? Yeah. Was your brother so-and-so? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I grew up like 4 blocks away from you. Oh, okay. Great. I just finished my degree at Bible college. Are you interested? It was a chance for me to go back to the church that I went to as a kid. And what was great was people there that were there when I was a kid. A youth leader when I was 10 years old, still attending the church. And after talking with her, when I back and give back to the people that gave so much to me, which is a humbling experience. I don't know if you've ever had to try and go and teach someone who taught you, or talk to someone. It's not easy. It can be downright intimidating. And I remember when the time came and I sat down, I talked with Deb, and I was like, is this something we should do? And I was conflicted. But then I had a peace in my heart. My circumstances were so bad, I still didn't want to leave here. But even during those conflicting feelings, I had a peace about me. And God was saying, you know what? It's going to be okay. And we need to make this change so that you grow things down the road that you don't even know are happening yet. And 10 years later, right back where I stood. And it was all possible because I went close to the source. I sought out the Lord, and He gave me a peace about the circumstances I was in. Didn't mean it wasn't difficult, because it was. But you can find peace even in those types of times. So that's wonderful. That kind of I think back kind of the first time that kind of peace where like, and maybe it's because it was just such a personal thing. Maybe the more personal it is, better the better the peace. It's not like you're like, I'm good with it. The kind of peace I'm talking about. It's that. And I think that, and for all my meds, picked up my phone